Good morning, everybody. Sorry to you on YouTube. I was moving you so that you were right next to TikTok, so I didn't have a big gap between my cameras here. I am live today, both on YouTube and on TikTok. We are going to have a fun time, I think. We do different things here. I am Carol with CarolJo's, and it is an online jewelry and accessory business, but I do more than just like promote the jewelry. I have a community that is absolutely fabulous about making jewelry, running our small businesses. Hi, Ashley, and anything that we just can come in and have a good time with. We are doing 2 chats a week. We do sales only on TikTok multiple times a week. We have 2 tomorrow and 1 on Saturday. But we also do tutorials twice a week. And today is a tutorial day. So today I'm going to show it together as a stack. Hi, Mia. And here it is as a stack. We're going to make the middle necklace here. So this top necklace is a cabochon, similar to what I'm wearing. I'm just wearing one. I'm not doing the trend of multiples. And then we're going to do the beaded bar tutorial today. And then we have another cabochon in a star setting down below. You can mix and match these with all different types of necklaces, and that is the trend. And having beaded necklaces is also on trend right now too. So, hi Lisa. So there's a lot of things that you can do to stay on trend. There isn't a whole lot that's like, it's out. It's a really cool time this year for the way the jewelry is. So what you're going to need to make the beaded bar. For tools, you're going to need a flush cutters. You'll need a round nose plier and 2 flat nose pliers. I also am going to be using my ruler so I can measure my length of my chain. And then I do have a bead mat, like always. I always work with a bead mat, never ever call it out, but I got my bead mat. So what else we're going to be doing is for the supplies, I am using the 22 gauge craft wire by Beadsmith. That's going to be where I make my bar with. I will have 2 jump rings, and they're like this. Hi, Ian. Is it Liam? Yeah, Liam. Hi, Liam. So we have 2 5mm jump rings. The reason why I'm using jump rings with this one as my closure. Hi, Sam. I like that someone. Hi, Chris. Is it Christian? We'll have a 12 by 6mm size lobster class. Hi, Melissa. I forgot to tell you, everybody. Do 10 shares, 10,000 likes, and we will do giveaways. And I also do not have my backup account going. We do have fun making it. All right, I'm bringing up my backup account on TikTok so I can see comments. Now, we also are going to be using this size chain. It is a smaller chain link than I normally use. Let me try to get that to focus. There we go. We got it. It's going in and out over here on. There we go. And that is why we are using jump rings instead of split rings. We are going to be making the beaded bar necklace. This is an example of it. We've got some pink glass that are a faceted twist with some daisy spacers in between for beads. Hi, Robin. So the other thing that you're going to need that I don't have right now are beads. So I need to just grab some beads. If you guys have colors in mind, put them in the chat. We're looking and thinking about the colors that are popular right now, which is a lot of different colors. You can do like the boho or like some muted colors and that type of thing, but then you also have bright colors too. Turquoise and coral. I was going to say I probably wouldn't do coral because my coral is in the orange and it's way at the top and I can't reach that. My beads go up 8 foot high and I'm 5'6" and I still can't reach the top. But we can do some turquoise colored. Let's see. Let's see what we got in here. Ooh, I know what we're gonna do. We're talking last night about a whole bunch of chips, and we have some chips here. We're gonna do one in that color with the chips. All right. So that we'll probably make a couple of them here, everyone. So we're gonna do some more. We'll take some more requests. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to point my camera down so that you can see. Oh, sure, Robin. We're making this one. All right, I'm going to point everybody down. Yes, I do sell jewelry, but I also teach you how to make it. I sell the beads and the components, findings, and everything to make the jewelry. And we have chat times where you can talk about making jewelry, or you want to ask questions about running a small business. We do all of it. It's an all-inclusive here. We don't gatekeep. We talk about a lot of things to help you grow your business or grow your craft and that type of thing. So if that helps you, King Von Legend. All right, I'm going to point you all down. Hi, Rose, so that you guys can see what I'm working on. All right. Oh, you're welcome. And while I'm pointing down, I was going to say, YouTube, I may not be able to see your comments until I come back up. TikTok, I've got to get back on that backup account so that I can see comments if I'm looking at my iPad. All right, so you see here, I have my ruler and I have my piece of chain. The necklace that I've made before was 18 inches. And so I am selling this chain in 1 meter, which is 39 1/4 inches. And on top of that, I also, when you do 18 plus 18, that equals 36. So you will have a little bit left over at the end. I use this chain to make the example. So this is the other half of it. This is a this is a welded chain. So that means I have to cut the link to get it to where I need it at. When they're welded together, they don't open without cutting them. And they're not always the easiest. There we go. Got that one open. And I'm going to set this aside. We can use it for something else. Hi, Gladys. So now we have our 18-inch length chain. The other thing I need the ruler for is for my wire. I want a 4 to 4.5 inch piece of wire to work with. So I'm just going to make it 4.5, cut it off. This is a tarnish resistant craft wire, is all that is. The gauge on this is 22. If you go with like a 20 gauge or an 18 gauge, you can use that. It just means that your bar isn't going to move as much. You can also use a like a 24 or 26 gauge wire, but your wire will make more of a U as time goes on because of the gauge. I'm just going to actually use 22 right in the middle. All right. I do not sell the wire all the time. I do not have any in stock. It's not something that a lot of people have asked for. So I have not, I don't sell it. If you want me to get wire in, I sure can. All right. I'm going to go down about 1 inch or so on that wire. I'm going to show you something here before I start. I got to make my line darker from when I was doing the example. I always, on my round nose plier, will put a black line with a Sharpie. And the reason why I do that is so that my loop hole, the round circle part of my loop that will go on the necklace, will be consistent because I'm going to put it on that spot all the time. That line will come off as you're using it, so you do have to reapply it every so often. Thank you, Rose, for saying that. I will order some. I'm working on an order. So right there, you can see my black line, and that's where I've placed my wire about 1 inch or so down. You're going to take your thumb or finger and push that wire 90 degrees out. So you see where it's a 90-degree angle there? Now we're going to reposition our tool where that line is, and our tool is going to be 45 degrees in that angle that we just created. You're going to bring this piece of wire here all the way around. Go as far as you can. You do have to reposition your tool, which just means switch this from here up to the top and finish out your circle. You will have a circle like this, and you're back to having your wire be a 90-degree angle. The reason why you reposition that tool 45 degrees is that when you started this circle, it gives it out and around. If you do not reposition that, your start of the circle will be straight up and then around. You won't get a good circle. Now we're going to take our chain nose pliers, open it up by lifting the little piece here up a little bit. And if you notice, I've got a little bit of a gap right in here. Trying to get there. There we go. Got that there. You see where there's a gap? And we're going to put it on our chain. Whoop, he slipped right on off. So we're putting that right in that circle part, and we're going to let that chain dangle down. We're going to close up that circle. Sometimes I use my round nose pliers because they're smaller than the chain nose. And you can just get in there and hold that down. Grab a pair of chain nose pliers, and barber pole is what I call it. You're going to wrap that wire around twice. And you're not going to put it on top of each other. You're creating like a barber pole. Do you see where my wires are going? One's right on top of the other right there. It's very hard to see. It's very small. This angle is hard to get that very detailed look at it. I do have a video on YouTube. You have a great day too, Country Taco. And it will be from the top view down and help you. Hey, Jack, how are you doing? So then we've got our bar attached to our chain on one side. The reason why we're putting that on there first is so that when you go to put this on the chain, one side isn't coming off while you're working on the other side. This is to stop it from falling off. Hello, Crafty Galaxy. Oh, it's your nighttime. I forget that. See, we're at the beginning of our day, but for you, it's night. Now, I grabbed a handful of those beads that we picked out that are the chips, and we're just going to put those on there. You can put on as many as you want and make that bar as wide or as narrow as you want it to be. And so I'm just going to show you what it looks like so far. So this is what I'm talking about. We're just putting those chips on. So last night when we were looking at those, so right now, you can decide how wide you want to make it. We are at just at a little bit over an inch, like 1 1/8 inches. Let me measure what this one is. This one is 1.5 inches. So you can make it, you could do it, and I could leave it at this, and it'll be narrower than what we have here. I could keep going, and I could make it all the way out here and have a very wide one. The amount of what you put on for the beads is totally up to you and what you're trying to accomplish with that look. I'm just going to put one more on. I'm thinking I'm going to go simplistically. And as I look at this in the camera, I see this brown one. Yes, there's brown in all of them, but this chip is like a lot brown, whereas all the other ones are brown and blue. I am going to take him off and replace him with a different chip, just because it just didn't look pleasing to me. You can add spacer beads if you want. I'm not adding spacer beads. I'm just going with a natural look. You can put whatever type of beads that you want on here. So this is a total of 1 1/4 inches of beads of those chips. Hi, Laura. I'm going to get these extra ones out of my way. Excuse me. These are chips, Deborah. So they are in different sizes. Now, I'm going to hold this so that my beads are down and my chain is down so that the weight pulls everything down. Remember, I have my line here. I'm going to line up once again on my line. I'm going to push away from me. Do that same process that we did before to add that circle on there. Turn this around 45 degrees. Bring this around towards me. You see how my top one is here? I want it on top. So I repositioned my tool. And we have a circle. He's a little bit there. I'm going to open that up. I run my hand down the chain so that I can get any kinks out of it. Bring it back and put it through the wire and then put it into the circle. Push this down, grab my pliers, and wrap this around there twice so that I have a consistent look. We're going to cut off our end with the cutters, that extra wire. There is what it looks like on the bead bar. Oh, that's okay, Rainbow. We'll do another one. Now, the one thing that we're missing is our clasp on the other end. We need to find where is our center of our chain. I have a non-scientific way to do that. I just hold it down, find the center. And remember, see, he sits out, the center one is sitting out for me when I do that. Remember, these do not open because they are soldered. So we're going to grab the cutters and cut that link off. There we go. Make sure I got, yep. Nope, no extra. All right. You take one of the 5mm. Hi, Shellbell. And we are going to use our 2 chain nose pliers to open up that jump ring. One towards you, one away. Put it on one end, one side. Then you're going to take one towards you and one away, the opposite of what you just did to open, and you're going to close that and make sure that it is shut. I feel a little bit of a gap there. I feel with it also. You can see it, but I also feel. We're good on that side. On this side, we're going to open up the second jump ring that we've got. It's right there. That second one towards you, one away. Put it on the chain and then grab your lobster clasp. You will always notice, hopefully, that I try to open and close my my lobster clasp before I put them on in case it malfunctions. That one malfunctioned. So he's going into the trash can because we don't want to get it on and then it happen. So try to remember to do it before you put it on. So now I need to grab my jump ring and my chain again. And then we're going to put our lobster clasp on. We're going to close it just like we closed the other one, going the opposite direction that you did to open it. Get them right next to each other. Feel it. It's good. And then you just put this on. And that is the beaded bar necklace using the chips. I'm going to put that on the neck here. I'm going to bring you guys back up so that you guys can see it up close. Here it is. Now you can layer that. I'm going to take off my pink one that I have that's a light pink. We're going to see how it looks with, ooh, Now I want to change up the top one because it has more of a boho effect. And I think this one might, yep. Okay, so I'm changing this. Thank you, Shell Bell, for the follow. So there's the necklace, and then there's our layered look. So I changed out this to go with this because I figured this was just me. And we might have different ones that we could put on here than this one, because this is what we had on there before. And it's just too for it. So I wanted to add some more pop to it. You sure can. I'm going to try this green one too and see what it looks like. And there's another one. And we could even take this one off and do something like this, because these can overlap each other, just be side by side type thing. So you can do different things to make it layered. So that is using chips. It gives us more of a boho feel when you use the chips, but that's okay. It's just a different way than we had when we used glass. So, and that's what I want you guys to understand, is that you can use different things to create this necklace. Now, I'm going to move the neck aside. I'm going to open up another bag of the chain. I will have those, Rainbow. I'm going to be bringing some more because we got some in. We were looking at them last night. Yep, you can do, if you put a small lobster clasp there to change out your bead bar, that is a good idea. I just don't know how aesthetically looking that would be. It just depends on how it looks. And you can do any colors that you want. You can do any colors of chain. You could do any color of the metals. And I will have acrylic chain tomorrow night that is in multiple colors. Okay, somebody said, hi, mommy, but I'm not your mommy. But you know, with the acrylics, it's a larger chain, so I would probably go with bigger beads on that bar. So you can do whatever you like. Yeah, I was like, okay. All right, I am going to cut another 18 inches of chain, and you don't have to do it at 18 inches. I'm just doing 18 inches. And I'm cutting it, maybe. There we go. But I only got one little cut in there, so I have to use my, there we go. We're getting that one. When you have soldered chain, it is sometimes harder to get it apart than soldered, for me anyways. All right, so I've got my 18-inch piece of chain, and I'm going to put away these beads, because remember, part of what we talked about in our organization thing is put away what you're not using so you don't create a cluttered mess and you don't want to work in your space. All right. I think I'm going to go outside of what I'm going to do. This one is an 18-inch. Okay. Of all things, I was going to do, so I wanted to do for next one some round gemstones, just to give you what it would look like with a round with color. But of all things, in my own collection, I have some more like black and white or gray and white chips in the stone. I'm like, that would be really cool too. I even have some nuggets here that we could do. So that's why I'm, yep, you can always watch a replay of this on YouTube. I will save it there. I do not have any round. Oh yeah, we do. Right there. We have some, we have Dalmatian Jasper here. Yep, I knew what you meant. All right, I'm going to point you guys down, and I'm going to do another one here with Dalmatian Jasper. So I want to show you what it looks like with a round stone. It would be the same look that you would have if it were a round bead. Let me pull this down here. There we go. All right. We need 4 inches about, or 4.5 inches of the wire. There's my cutters. We're going to, he's a little bent there, so we're going to grab our round nose pliers about 1 inch down. We're going to create that circle by going at a 90 degree, reposition our tool 45 degrees, and then coming around. I'm not going through this step as like in detail because there is a video that is a lot better angle of watching. And it's going to be the one that is called Dangled Earrings on YouTube. And you're going to wrap this around twice. Got to get in there and cut that piece off. Ooh, I just shot that on the floor. That's not good. You always want to find those so you don't get them in your foot. So after live, I'll have to go look for it because it went flying across the room. I am just going to put my Dalmatian Jasper on this. Where is the hole? I keep thinking this one spot is the hole, and it's not. It's just a spot. This is a 6mm size bead. And here I just put 5 of those beads on there. And when I look at that through the camera, I don't like the way this looks. I know it sounds really weird, but Dalmatian Jasper sometimes is white and sometimes has a little yellowish tint to it. 3 of these are more white and 2 are like the yellowy tint, and they are next to each other, and I just don't like that look. So I'm just going to reposition them. I know, I've been picky on these last 2, haven't I? I think I want this one instead. There's the hole. I think I like that one better. I just don't, hold on, I'm just going to look at it for a minute. Let's see, maybe this. And it's all because it's a natural stone. There we go. I found them in the order that I like them better. I am very symmetrical when I design. And if I don't see the pattern or the pattern is off, I don't like it. And that is just 100% me. You can do however many of these, whatever size bead you're doing. The one thing that is a rule for just anything, home decor, jewelry, anything, is having odd numbers. So that's why I selected 5 beads. You could have 7 beads. We could do just 3. I mean, we could have this necklace just be those 3. You could do the 5, and I could add 2 more and it'd be 7. So it's really based upon what does your eye gravitate to, and odd numbered items is where your eye gravitates to. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to hold this down like this so that all of our weight goes down and all of the, it's down there so we don't have space between the beads. I'm going to grab my round nose pliers, put them on that mark that we made earlier so that everything is consistent. Go 90 degrees away, reposition that tool at a 45-degree angle inside of there, and then bring it around. Reposition and finish off your loop. We're going to open up that circle, and we are going to put that chain in there. close it up, and wrap this around. Now this was a smaller length one, so I really didn't need the whole 4.5 inches that I did. I could have probably been good with 3 inches. All right, here it is without the closure. And then I'm going to find my end. Good morning, Craft 167. There it is. That's the link. I'm going to cut that off. There we go. I'm going to grab 2 jump rings and a lobster clasp. We're going to try that lobster clasp. It's good. Open up our jump ring on one side and add it to the chain by going toward you and away from you. And then just close it up, going the opposite direction. All right. Open up the other jump ring. Nope, I came on at 11 my time. Open it up, one towards you, one away from you, put it on the chain, grab our lobster clasp that we've already double checked to make sure it's working. And then shut it up. There we go. I know, it's a very simple, stylish necklace. It's very simple. And there it is by itself. I'm going to bring you guys back up. There we go. Kind of moved away. There we go. So there it is. All by itself. You can wear this by itself. Or we could stack it like we have with... Ooh, I'm wondering... Hold on, let's mix this up a little bit. Nope, I don't like it. The length of the chain is the problem with this one. If our chain was just a little bit longer, what would it look like? Nope. Because what I was thinking is that we could do, if our chain was a little bit longer, so we're going to imagine the chain a little bit longer. I mean, we're talking like 1 or 2 links is all we need. Or we needed to have made our bar one just a little bit smaller. This one maybe. So if I'm imagining if this one, I'm going to move it back just a little bit to help. We'll get it in there. Like that. That would be cool. You have a good day. All right. So, but this is the one that we just made. I'm going to bring it up close. And they also say for the layered look, it doesn't, they can be on top of each other. But I am really hard sometimes about the layered look I don't want the bar going over the pendant. So I would want it either above or below, you know, so that it would be either up here, you know, type thing is what I mean. Or if it was even below the pendant and the pendant was higher. It could be either or. I just don't like them overlapping each other so that you can see each one of them. That is my taste. But I think that would be really cute. Literally. I think I would have made this one, if I would have made this one a 20 inch, it would have been perfect. So you can make them different lengths too. We could make this one shorter so that it sits right in here on someone. Or we can make it longer so it sits down here. So here would be 16 to 17 inches. And right down here would be 19 to 20 inches. If that helps you out. We'll make another one. Should we make one longer or shorter, everybody? You tell me in the chat. The next one we make, should we make it longer or shorter? We're going to make another one. I've been using smaller ones because that's what's been in my mind to do for this. But I'm thinking the next one, we're going to use bigger beads. We're still going to use the small chain, but we're just going to use bigger beads. Shorter. Okay. Shorter. Yep. Because we can decide our chain is just one piece and we get to do a shorter chain. So I am going to cut the chain then to be 16 inches. It might be a couple lengths more than 16. I can see if I can get some Dalmatian jasper in. There. All right. Now we're also going to cut off. You could make a bracelet to match. The only thing I'm going to say with a bracelet is that I would really suggest that you use split rings for it. So you might have to use a larger chain than this one. You know, because what I mean by that is that when you get in here with the split ring, the area that it's going to take up, because this chain is so small, it would take up a lot of that room and it might not move like you want it to. If you use a larger chain, like my favorite chain that we've got in these other necklaces or this, you can add a split ring to that. But then when you use the larger chain, as you saw when we've been stacking them, sometimes the chain becomes the focal when it's really the pendant or what you're making, you know, for this type of thing is what you want as the focal. So that's why sometimes you just got to figure out what you're going to use. All right, now I need to use a bigger bead. I'm trying to think what colors. I know you guys put colors in earlier. Can you guys give, what's the difference? Okay, the difference between a jump ring is a single loop of wire. A split ring is a double loop of wire. And think of a split ring as more like your keychains. You know, when you have to like use your thumb to get things on, your keys on and off of a keychain. That is the same thing with a split ring. It is a split ring. It's just bigger. Oh, you have a few of those? Okay, Deborah. But it really is cool when you do those too. Thank you, Lisa, for the heart me. All right. I am going to, I'm just looking, what color do I want? I'm like, I want to use a color that I don't use very often. I don't know what if I want. No, they're on their way, Deborah. Thank you, Lisa, for all of the summer sunshine face. They're on a ship. I need about 2 more weeks before I get them. Once I get them, I will be bringing them into a live. And not a cabochon live. I'll bring them to a regular live. Because you guys need those. All right. Let me see what we got for brown. Oh, there they are. Brown. I was like thinking brown acrylic, so it wasn't going to be heavy because we're making big. Ooh, I think I like this. It's an acrylic bead that looks like metal. I think I'm going to use these beads. So these are, I'm thinking a 10 millimeter. Let me measure them because it doesn't have what it is. There it is. About a 9.5 to 10 is what this one is. So this is going to be a little bit bigger than we've been using. You want to make a matching? Yeah, you can do it. I would just say probably go with a link that is bigger so that you can get that split ring in there. And the split ring thing is my thing. If you're okay, go with it with the jump ring. The chain then would be, instead of it being 18 inches, you would probably go with, I'm just going to sit here and think about it for a moment. I would say probably go with about a 6.5 inch. All right, we got our chain on there. I was like talking and didn't say I was doing it. Sorry. Because I was like thinking measurements and working at the same time. Anybody else like multitask and like they're thinking about something and they're making jewelry at the same time? I do that a lot. All right, so we have our chain on. We're going to put the larger bead on. And I picked an acrylic bead just so that the necklace wouldn't get heavy. Yep, you got that, Rainbow. And if we put 5 of those beads on, it's now almost 2 inches, which is, it can be okay, but I'm like also trying to go for a minimal look. And I don't know if I want that many. We can go with 3. I don't know. You guys let me know. Should we do 3 or 5? I'll show you what the 5 looks like in a moment. You guys put in the comment 3 or 5. Because I'm like, because this is what it'll look like as a 5. And it's going to be up here because we went the shorter one. I'm going to take my necklace off so it'll help us decide, okay? So with it being a shorter necklace, it's going to be right here for 5 or right here for 3. I say 5. Once I saw that, I'm going 5. I was going to say, when I do jewelry, I will get up and walk and hold it up in a mirror to see how it looks and how it's laying. I seriously will. All right, so we are going to hold this up like this with the weight being pulled down. Grab our round nose pliers. We're going to create that loop on this end. So go away 90 degrees, come back around towards you after you reposition the tool. Get that in there. We're going to put the other end of the chain in here. Put that in there and then wrap that around twice. There we go. We're going to cut that off. All right, then we have our bar. Now we're going to find our centerpiece. I found it. It's right there. You can measure to find your centerpiece if you do not like the technique I use. And that's okay. I literally am gauging it by holding it type scenario. Okay, I shot that across the room. I am going to have metal pieces all over my bead room today. And I'm even pointing it down. I didn't put the cameras down again. I'm sorry, everybody. All right, we're going to put one of the jump rings. Thank you, twins, with, is it Simcoe for the rose? Let me know how to pronounce that second word. I'm assuming. All right, we've got that on. I'm gonna shut that up. And here is the shorter necklace. There it is. So now, if I put this is more like what I want with that. It's a little bit higher. It doesn't come down and cover up the pendant. So I'm just going to show you like on me here quick what we're talking about. If this necklace will fit me. My neck is wide. Holy buckets, that's way down there. How long is my necklace then? I thought my necklace was 18. It is not. I'm sorry. Well, let's see. Hi, Daisha. I remember you. So then I want to put, this one will go in my shirt though. Let me pull my shirt up. There we go. And let's see what this one will look like. I'm showing you like what it, because the neck will give you false like stuff. I do remember you. There. I think I wanted it more, a little bit shorter though. So there's some of the boho where your name is Disha. And now I got them in my hair. So I'm going to take them off here. But that's like the boho look. They really, truly are. You can have them at any length. You don't have to have them laying. It used to be, ooh, I like those two together. The lengths of those two together. Jeez. I'm having fun here. I normally don't try these all on, and I have a hard time with layered looks. We've all talked about that. I am out of the skulls. You guys bought them all. And now we're just waiting for the pendants to come in. So that's what this was about. Was really truly about how to take and have the bar and be able to create different looks with it. You can wear it by itself. You can wear it you love the ones you got. That's cool because they're all different. There was a lot of different looks to those skulls. There we go. I think there was like 40 different ones. It was fun looking through them all. But that is how the beaded bar. So we created 4. I've got this one. Where did our Dalmatian one go? Dalmatian, where are you on my table? Okay, you guys are going to laugh. I cannot find the Dalmatian one on my table. There it is. Found it. Ha! Ooh. Okay, the 3 that we made today, I'm going to take out the one that I did for even doing these bars as a layered look that you can mixy and matchy and it doesn't have to lay right. I love it. I just want to do it this way. Look at that. I love that look. It's all natural stuff. Even though this is acrylic, it looks like it's a metal bead that's heavy. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm loving it. And that's part of what this is about being able to just create different things. So it wasn't meant that they were supposed to go together. We were just making. Every time I've done something that would look really cool together, it was just a happy accident. So that is how you make the beaded bar. I'm sorry, I'm just amazed. I did not mean for those to go together, but I love them together. I know it sounds so silly, but I do. I'm going to bring it up close so you guys can see. It just has that boho look to it, but it's cool. I just love it. And we've got different shapes. You have the chips, you have the round, and then you have the faceted round. They're all in different sizes, and that's what this is all about. So yeah, happy accident. I love it. And it was only because I was going to put them all on and show you guys what all 4 of them. So I'll put the other one on. The other one is like a misfit because he is a blingified one. So he is a misfit. See? Misfit. I used just a craft wire that is a 22 gauge. It's the Beadsmith's tarnish resistant craft wire is what I used. And I did the circles to get them on the chain is the same one that you do for all the dangles, like the dangled earrings and that type of stuff. And also for the cha-cha bracelet. So yeah, that's all you did is you have a piece of wire that you put the circles on both ends, but you put the beads on one side. It's so simple. The video will be available here after the live on YouTube. So those of you on TikTok, if you would like to follow me on YouTube so you can get notified when they are when I have new videos, you can go and subscribe to me over there. You just go to that CJS logo at the top, CJS logo at the bottom. Then you get to my profile. In my profile, there's a line that says Lemon 8 on one side and more on the other. You touch that line, 2 rectangles come up below. The one that says tree, you touch that. And then a page comes up with different things. That's a list of going to my website to pay the deposit and all of my social medias. YouTube is completely at the bottom. I don't know why I put it at the bottom, but I did. And so you scroll down, then you can do that. Thank you. They're really easy. We did 3 of them with the explanation and everything and picking out the colors in an hour. So just imagine that if you are at home needing to do something to sell for the summer, you could probably make a ton of those. And what I mean by a ton, in just sitting down in an hour or 2, you could probably have anywhere from 5 to 10 different necklaces. So it's a very, very easy necklace too. You're not mass producing it because you don't need to put it all in the same colors, but you know, you can do different things and see if you get a happy accident. If anybody gets a happy accident like that with that, you guys got to post the pictures. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to get going. I am not going to have a live tonight. We have a baseball game. So I was talking about this last week. From now through August, we have one of our kids is coaching and playing amateur baseball as an adult. And we will be going to his games. The games are at least 2 a week, sometimes 3. So that means at least 1 night, if not 2 nights a week, we'll be at his games. Tonight is one of those nights. So that's why I'm not having a live tonight, is that we're going to have family time. The other day that he always plays on Sundays. So when I say 1 or 2, it means one of them is on Sundays. And that's why I've been trying to gear up and change things so that I have a day off so that we can go watch him play. So tonight, no live. Okay. And then tomorrow we will be live again. I believe it is at 11 a.m. But check the pinned post here on TikTok for a silicone basket sale. So we've had some that just contacted me and said, I'm not going to be able to get those beads. So we're going to put them back up for sale. So we're going to do that tomorrow at 11. And then we're going to have our normal bead sale at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. All these times are central. We will have the chain that we used for those. We're going to have that chain here up for sale. I only have like about 40 packages of it, you guys. So there's not a lot, but we'll have that. We will have smaller beads in the glass for sure, so that you can make more of like this style of the beaded of the beaded bar necklace. Bye, Disha. You have a good evening. So we'll do that. And then I will bring in some of the beads that we went through yesterday. I'll bring in 1 or 2 of those. I do have some other naturals. What else was there? There's like so much tomorrow night. Oh, Lordy. Oh, I am going to have kits of the beaded bar necklace available. And I will also have kits for the badge reels that we did the tutorial on earlier in the week. And I forgot my earrings, everybody. Naked ears. I gotta go put those on. So I will have those. The beatable badge reels, it was a combination of me picking the focal and the badge reel color and Buttercup picking the accent beads. I sure can. This is the chain. So that's what it's going to look like. And so it's a combination. And so I would not have put all of them, but when I saw what she put, we like her combinations that she does for the bead soup. So some of them, like, she's just got an eye for it. So we'll have some of those, and we'll have some other things. I just can't think of them all right now, but I will try to remember when we're on live tomorrow so I can let you know. And then on Saturday at 10 a.m., we're going to have a bring back sale. We don't normally do that on Saturdays, but we're going to this time. So hopefully you guys all have a great evening. Have an evening off with me. Do something fun. How about that? And we'll see you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a good one. Bye.